Sorry. Jesus Christ. Um, sorry, I picked the time to record this video at 12:37 on a Friday afternoon, assuming that the construction people would be going to lunch. No. Although they just turned it off. But as soon as I hit record, right when I'm about to say, hey, welcome to the next video, boom, that stupid cherry picker diesel goes right on, right outside my window again. I'm really getting sick of these dudes. They need to finish their goddamn work and get the hell out of here. But anyways, yeah, so we're going to record the video anyways. He just turned it off, too. Maybe he mentally could feel my anger, but now they're just going to start banging away. Anyways, bear with me on that. I turned the fan on to kind of drown it out a little bit. Plus, I might need the fan for this video because my head might get a little hot. So, you've seen the thumbnail, so you know what I'm talking about. It's not really much of a reveal. However, I am going to do an unboxing in this video. Just came to the hay this morning. But let me paint the picture first. Let me tell the little story. You know me, I gotta tell the story. It's all part of the shtick, is to tell the story. Let's go back to when? 1984. I kind of, if you watch my mall video, you know about Sears, you know about going to Sears. I've told the story probably before when I talked about G.I. Joe and the Rattler. I might have hinted at the story, but today we're going to cover the story in detail and tell us what's going on. So put yourself in fall of 1984. I'm starting school. I believe it was school had started. And also remember, I was big into Iron Maiden at the time. It was 1983. I discovered the year prior, discovered Iron Maiden with Peace of Mind. Going to things all the time, getting t-shirts, keychains, headbands, the whole 9 yards. One of the album covers that really caught my eye was Killers, which is their second studio album, not with Bruce Dickinson. This is the last album with Paul, was it Diamante? I can't remember his name is. Diodato? Not, whatever his name is. Paul, the original lead singer, which I'm not a huge fan of. I know a lot of diehard Iron Maidens love him more than Bruce Dickinson. But I started with Bruce Dickinson, so there you go. However, the album cover, even though I loved Peace of Mind, the album cover Killers caught my attention right off the bat. Obviously, you know, it's to a 11-year-old boy, you know, or yeah, a 10-year-old boy, 11-year-old, right around that time. Seeing that album cover at that age was like, I mean, you couldn't you couldn't ask for a better album cover. Peace of Mind's great, you know. Eddie in the straitjacket and I didn't really realize that's what that was until I got a little older. It's like I didn't really know what a straitjacket was. I remember my dad talking about them. Anyways, and the padded room, I didn't get that at first until maybe a year later, like this year. I was like, oh, I just noticed looking at the album cover so much that's a padded room. Eddie's a crazy lunatic in an asylum. I didn't get that at first. But for me, it was Killers. And I remember going to things, having to get the t-shirt, I had a keychain of them. I later got a watch in the 90s of it, like a cool watch of it. I think it was at, must have been Hot Topic. When Hot Topic first opened, they had these watches, and they had an Iron Maiden watch. I was like, oh, that's sweet, I'll take that. But it's got to be somewhere. Anyways, I loved that cover. Drew it all the time. Always drew that cover. You know, I'd show off all the kids in my class in 6th grade drawing those album covers. And Killers, there was like, oh, you really do a good job on that Killers album. I said, yeah. I didn't have the Killers album at the time. I had Peace of Mind and I had Number of the Beast, but I didn't have Killers. And then when I eventually got Killers, I ended up trading it off because I didn't like it. I didn't like the album. I was like, this isn't the same lead singer. This doesn't really sound the same. And so even though I loved the album cover, I didn't really like the album so much. I still don't. I'm not a big fan of it. But anyways, so now we're getting close to Halloween. I know this is kind of the worst time to do a Halloween story, right, you know, in the middle of the winter, but we're going to do a Halloween story in the middle of the winter. Anyways, we should have saved this for October this year, but go figure. Anyways, my dad had to get he had said there was something wrong with the AMC Eagle. something wrong with the car. And I'm going to run over to the mall and take it to Sears. You want to go? Yeah, I always want to go to the Lakeside Mall. So we go over to Sears, we go to the auto center there, we take it in, we go into the auto, I'm not in the mall part yet, we go into the auto center, and we talked to the guy in there, and if you know inside that mall, so the auto center was kind of here, the toy section was back here by this back door, which went out to the one parking lot, and then like the sporting goods section was pretty much right across from the area to go into the auto center, and then the waiting room there. Anyway, so my dad goes in there, and he says, something wrong with the car, it's shaking. I can't remember, I think it was the left wheel, it was shaking. He thought it needed an alignment or whatever. Come to find out the car needs a new ball joint. This is back when they had ball joints in passenger cars. Now they don't. Now they pretty much do struts and a hub. But anyways, needed a new ball joint. And the guy's like, oh man, that was really bad. He's like, I'm lucky, you're lucky it didn't break off on you. I remember him saying that to this day. It's like, oh, could you imagine the wheel breaking off while we're in the car driving? I got kind of scared. But anyways, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to hope we're getting the car fixed. I don't want to drive home with the car so we'll have the wheel pop off. But anyways, so we go out. Here's where the detail comes in the story I didn't tell before. So we come out of the auto center after we drop off the car. My dad's kind of huffing and puffing. It's going to cost an arm and a leg, but he has to have it done. So then we walk out. We totally bypass the toy section. I'm assuming when we come back to wait for the car, we'll hit the toy section, right? So we kind of go, and I don't even kind of look back. I've got my hell's bent set on going for that door in Sears to get out into the main mall. This is on the lower floor. Remember, merry-go-rounds is right up here. Anyway, so we go right outside the door, and we go walking through. I think we stopped at merry-go-rounds. I didn't get anything there. We ended up going over to KB Toy Store, and at KB Toy Store they had the Rattler, the G.I. Joe Rattler, and I had to have it. I was like, oh, I love this thing. And so it was like $18. My dad's like, well, if that's all you're getting, that's fine. So he got me the Rattler, and then after we went and walked around the mall, he says, well, the car should be done about now. I think we got lunch, too, over there. And then we came back, and when we came back, I could see the toy section now, because I'm walking towards it. Here's the auto center. And I see this huge display set up like in the middle of the aisle. And it's kind of like this black cagey display with black curtains, and there's all these Halloween masks. Like, I'd never, up until that point, I had never seen that cool of Halloween masks. The only time I ever saw anything that cool was on the backs of like Fangora magazine, where they had the cool Halloween masks, the high-end ones, and I always wanted them, but I couldn't, I never ended up getting them. But there they were, in all the glory, with blood and mangled parts and all the stuff, and everything a boy could love at that age. And then my eyes just got huge, and my dad just like, Dad! I said, remember I didn't want to go out for Halloween this year. I thought I was too old. Going into 6th grade, I'm too old to go out and trick-or-treat. I don't need to go trick-or-treating. That's what I was. I remember I made the deal with my dad. I was going to, if I didn't get a Halloween costume, that he'd get me the Rattler. That was my conning my dad into getting me the Rattler. Well, he said, oh, I thought you didn't want a Halloween costume. I know, but I didn't know they had these. He's like, I just spent $18. I just bought you lunch, and now I need to get a ball joint fixed in the car. He's like, I'm not made out of money. And I was just like, push. So it was, and then I saw it. I saw the mask that I wanted, and I was like, it's the Killer's. For me, it was the Killer's mask. It's the Killer's mask. I gotta have that mask. And that mask at the time, I think, was $40. This is 1984, 40 years ago. $40. And my dad's like, okay, it's more than twice as much as we paid for your airplane you just bought. Because to my dad, it's just a toy airplane. It wasn't a G.I. Joe this, a G.I. Joe that. It was a toy airplane. And anyways, he said, well, we could take back the Rattler. And then we're still waiting for the car to get done. And I'm just kind of like antsy-pantsy, making my dad nervous, and he's getting angry at me. And I was just like, then I looked out and I saw Wild Weasel staring at me through the box, going, you totally want me. You want this plane. This is like next to the SR-71 Blackbird. This is your dream. Sorry, Jesus Christ. This is the dream. This is the dream car, right? Or sorry, the dream airplane. because really didn't even know what an A-10 Warthog was, or Thunderbolt, or whatever you want to call it, until literally this day, which they fly over at least twice a week from Selfridge Air Force Base. I got 2 of them that fly over almost, all the time. But anyways, so I'm there. I want the Rattler, because the Rattler's calling my name. I want that mask out there. And my dad's just looking at me. He's like, fine. That's all you're getting. You're not getting anything else till Christmas. Well, I couldn't get any Transformers for Christmas. Couldn't find them. But I did get more stuff before Christmas. But anyways, he's like, fine, we'll get it. He says, once the car's done, I pay it, we'll go out and we'll look at the masks. So we go out there, we look at the masks, and sure enough, that's the one I want. I gotta have it. Gotta have it. And so my dad ended up buying the mask. I got the Rattler too. We made it home because we have a new ball joint. And I was running around the house with that mask. I went into the garage. It was a hatchet, but it was kind of a lame hatchet. It was like, I don't even think it actually was a hatchet. I think it was for splitting wood. It didn't have like a blade. It was just like a wedge on a stick. And I think he used it to split wood. I don't know why my dad never split wood, but we had that in the garage. It was all rusty. It's probably in the garage when we bought the house. Anyways, so I had that rusty thing, and I'm running around the yard with the mask on, like going, I'm the guy from Killers! I'm the killer guy! I didn't even actually know his name was Eddie then, until I think a kid in 6th grade pointed out, oh yeah, Eddie? Oh, that's his name? Yeah, I don't know, I thought he was just the Killers guy. And I didn't realize that the Killers guy was the same guy as Eddie on... I didn't realize he was reoccurring at the time. It was just, that was too much knowledge for my tiny brain. So, anyways... Then, it's come time to Halloween. Mr. Teller, who our art teacher, said, hey, I've got an idea. I'm going to come in right before Halloween to do an art class, because we did like art class like once every couple of weeks, I think, on like a Monday. He said, I'm going to come in, and we're going to do, anybody wants to bring in their Halloween costume, bring it in, and then the rest of the class will draw it. We'll put you up on the table here by the coats, and you can pose for us, and we'll draw you, and everybody in the class will draw your thing, right? Now everybody's looking at me like I'm going to do the best job as far as drawing, right? But I said, you know what? I'm going to actually wear my costume. And they're like, oh, what are you going to be? And I go, you'll see. So I didn't really have a costume per se. So what I ended up doing was I took a white t-shirt, and I snipped a couple of holes in it, and then just started tearing it, shredding this white t-shirt. And then I had a little bottle of fake blood. I went splattered fake blood all over the shirt. I just wore some jeans. And then I couldn't bring a real axe to school, so what I did was I took it wasn't a toy axe, but what it was a toy sword that I had, kind of like you get at a Renaissance festival. But it was weird. It didn't look like the standard Renaissance. It looked more like the hand, looked like literally an axe handle, but it was supposed to be a sword. It's hard to explain what it looked like. It was almost like a dagger type of thing. Like it didn't have a hilt. It had like I can't remember where I got it. Anyways, I took that and I had to make a cardboard blade for the axe, and then cover it with tin foil so it looked like it was metal. And that way, and then I splattered blood all over it, and that was my my killer's axe. So I come to school that day. I have the box with sort of a box like this. It was it was probably the same size, but as a kid, it was huge because I had a little kid body. But anyways, I brought the box to school. I walked over to the bathroom to go dress up in my costume, and came out, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's a cool costume!" And I had the mask, which you're going to see. I had the mask. I had the fake axe, blood all over it and everything. And of course there was some girl, it wasn't Kim Zinzer, but it was some other girl who's like going, wow, you can see how fat you are through all the holes in your t-shirt. I tell you, I've never caught a break my entire life. Anyways, so I climbed up on the table there, and I'm up there and I'm going, like I'm Eddie from the Killers album cover. I had drawn the album cover, and I could see it was pinned to Mr. Camley's desk behind his chair over there on his corkboard. And I'm looking over, and I see that drawing that I did, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Eddie. I'm so cool. And all the kids thought it was really sweet. And then all the kids are trying to draw it. And then the one kid goes, well, this is kind of stupid. You know you're going to draw the best one in the class, but you're in the costume. You should let somebody else put the costume on so you can draw it. And I go, I could do that. And Mr. Shell's like, we're running out of time. You know, I think we only did like me and one other person got up there and had a costume. And so that never ended up happening. So I never got to draw my costume on somebody else. But anyways, that was 6th grade. That was 1984. So I had forgotten about that, but I always thought about that costume. However, let me backtrack. I'm gonna show you a couple of visuals that pertain to the mask specifically. If I can find my pen here. So that's what I'm talking about, the album cover killers. But oops. Okay, can I fast forward? All right, here we go. So anyways, this movie came out in 1984. Now, obviously, I didn't cover it in the movie, video, because it definitely was not the top 50 best movie of 1984. But this movie had come out. Now, I saw the poster for this, right, at Now Playing, if you remember what Now Playing was. But it was 1984. We just got a VCR. And I remember we had a Betamax VCR first. This movie came out, and I remember this was a controversy we had when we first got the Betamax, was I saw this, and I saw the mask, right? It was on the poster. I didn't see the back of, I didn't even know the guy was going to wear the mask in the movie. It was just the cover. But I saw this, and I saw this blade, and I was like, Dad! Dad! And it wasn't in 84. When I saw this, it was technically early 85 because it was coming to video. Because it came out in the theaters, I never saw it. So it was technically 85, and this is when we go to Now Playing, and then they eventually opened up. We started going to Rochester Home Video, which is another great video store back then. But so we went over to Now Playing, and they had this poster. I said, Dad, that's the mask. He says, yeah, I see, it's the mask. And I go, it's in this movie. I gotta see this movie. And he's like going, well, it's not out yet. It's just a poster for it. It's coming. It was already out in the theaters. So anyways, he asked the guy, he said, hey, how much is this, or when's this movie coming out? And he said, and gave him the date. I don't know what the date was. Well, this movie's coming out. And he says, yeah. He said, is it available on beta? And the guy goes, no, it's not going to be available on beta. Now, I don't know. I haven't checked into it. I don't know if it ever did come out on beta, but the guy should know. I mean, Now Playing was kind of they kind of knew their shit. But he said, sorry, I realized I got the one that's not even in English, the cover here. It's called, was it called Terror or something? Something Terror. Rocktober Terror. That's what it was called. Rocktober Terror. So it must have come out in the October of 84. That's what I assumed, but I didn't know that. Because I didn't see the poster until I saw it at Now Playing. And like I said, that just like, the lighting on it too, with the blacked out eyes, and obviously right next to the good stuff, I was just like, oh, gotta see this movie. It wasn't coming out in beta. My dad goes, it's not coming out in beta. We can't see it. You have to see it if it comes out in beta or if it comes out in VHS. Maybe we'll get a VHS by that time. So I kind of forgot about it, and then it just came out on cable. Because we had cable by that time. I think like early 86, maybe late 85, somewhere around there. It just came out on cable. I remember seeing the listing for it. I'm like, the movie's on cable! I can tape it! We ended up having a VHS by that time too, but I kind of forgot about it. I still had the mask. And so anyways, I finally got to see the movie, and I saw that the guy wore it in the mask in the movie, and I was like, oh, it's so cool! Like I said, they literally had the same, serendipitous. They had the same idea I had. Obviously, it's not a what do you call it, genius idea. But I'm just saying, is they had the same idea right when I saw that mask. I thought instantly Killers, which they obviously thought instantly Killers. I thought it instantly, some kind of weapon with blood on it. Boom. As long if I just had. Who was the girl in 6th grade I'd like to drape over my shoulder like that? Carrie Batten, that's who. So, anyways, Maybe I should throw Kim Zinzer over my shoulder and give her a couple of whacks because for calling me fat all the time. But anyways, I can't remember who called me fat this time. I think it was Chrissy Fry. Her and her retainer mouth called me fat, right? And I never made fun of her retainers. Mr. Camley did. Sorry, I don't want to call out everybody's name, but I guess I called out everybody's name. But anyways, so that happens, right? I go Halloween actually that year. The problem is it was cold, and here I have this ripped up white T-shirt. So I ended up having to take. I had a green. It wasn't the green that matched the mask, but I had this green sweatshirt that I ended up having to wear, and then I put the bloody shirt over it with the logic that the green was his green skin to stay warm. And I got to tell you, running around, and the thing is, we weren't just like walking casually from house to house. Me and the one kid down the street, we're running around, and I was running around acting like a crazy person with the axe and stuff. And just the amount of sweat that would just pooled up inside that mask. And I could just smell, which I will soon do here on video. I could smell that latex, that sweaty latex in there. It was just caked down. It was just like, oh. So, you know what I got the mask, and I'm gonna unbox it here. However, before we do that, there's just a little scene from the movie. They're tiny little screen caps. Let's fast forward again to, this is 1987. Now this album actually came out in 1985, but I wasn't aware of it at the time. But in 1987, I ended up getting really big into Halloween because they had a music video on MTV. I believe it was Headbangers Ball. They had, I believe it was I Want Out from Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2. And ended up getting that album at Kmart, and that was one of my favorite, still is one of my favorite albums of all time, is Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 by Halloween. But then I ended up getting Halloween Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1. I liked the album, but I liked the second one better. And then I was digging into their discography as a kid to get another album, and I came across Walls of Jericho. Walls of Jericho! And look, it's on the cover. They did the artwork. This is 1985, so technically this mask is from 1977. Zagone Studios was the company that put these masks out. They did a lot of them that were at a lot of Halloween. This is way before Spirit Halloween. It'd be way before Halloween USA. This is when like this tiny Halloween store would come around just for Halloween and go into some empty business just like they do nowadays, but not the mega ones like a regular size store. And they usually have the whole walls just lined with these masks. So the mask technically came out in 77, but it must not have got big until, because even they didn't put it in the movie, so I don't think anybody really knew what it was until the early 80s. And but when I saw this album, it's like, I gotta get this album just because it's got my mask on it. So the mask has shown up again. I forgot about it for years, right? I had looked it up like maybe 15 years ago to see if I wanted to know what it was. I was like, that mask, I want to remember what it looked like. And I'd seen pictures on it, and there was somebody probably online, eBay or something, and they were selling it for god-off like $500 or something for an original. So fast forward to a couple, like last week, I'm with my son, and we're sitting there, and I was looking at my tablet, and I come across the Green Fang mask, which is what it's called. And I go, oh, that's what it was called. And I looked up on Amazon, and they have a brown Fang mask, same mask, but it was like a brown. And I go, that's awesome. I should get that. It was like $100. And I was like, it's not green. I want the green one. And then I look up Green Fang mask, and then I come up with a place called Trick or Treat Studios. And Trick or Treat Studios, which I'll pull up here, has the mask right there for $79.99. So I was finally going to get the mask. I hemmed and hawed about it, and then I thought, you know what? If I don't get it, this is a bad mentality to get into, but if I don't get it, it's probably going to go away, and I'm never going to get it again. And I will keep this and treasure this forever, because this is one of those things that I had such a fondness for. So, and it was the green one. Hopefully it's the green one. And so I ordered it, and I think it was like a week ago yesterday, and today's Friday, and Trick or Treat Studios, LLC, Santa Cruz, California. There it is. So, let's do some unboxing. Let's check out, make sure they sent me the right mask. Again, kind of a weird time. And I'm not going to go out trick-or-treating. Maybe my son wants to go out for his 6th grade. He'll get to wear the mask. It might not even fit my big head anymore. I don't know. We'll have to see. Sorry. I gotta enjoy every. That's the green mask. There it is. There it is. Smells like cardboard. And in stockroom. And it's like I said, it's a kid's. It seems very kid-sized because when I was a kid, it was huge, you know, to my little 11-year-old hands. But yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it is dead on. The teeth, the tongue, everything about it. It is dead on. It's the exact match. Even has this. I love the fuzzy hood on it that came with it. That is it. I got it all pinned in here or something, or tucked in here. There it is. Okay. So yeah, it was one of those masks where obviously you put the mask on, and then I remember it did have the little Velcro thing in there. You put the mask on and you flip the hood over on yourself. So let's try this baby on. Let's smell this plastic. Oh my god, I can't even barely get my face in there. Yeah, it's definitely made for smaller people. Heck, that guy in the movie must have been a tiny guy. Yeah, I can't even get my face fully into it. Well, I guess I can. I guess, yeah, if I just... Alright. It's stretchy. I don't know if it stretched it out, but... Oh, yes, right. Forgot. Yep. Exact same. I had the Velcro right there. Sorry, I know the tags and stuff look kind of goofy. There it is. Actually, it's pretty comfortable. Now that I actually have my face in it, it kind of stretched it out to put my face in it. So it does fit. It's just kind of a tight fit. Now, actually, you know what? Tell you the truth, it fits perfect. That's right. Oh, the little thing. Oh, it's maddening. The maddening little tongue slit. I can't stop putting my tongue through it. Anyways. Definitely has a different smell, though. The latex, like I said, when I was a kid, the latex had a very specific smell. And this one has a... It smells more like... You know, it just smells like cardboard in like the back room of like a store or something. It doesn't really have the latex. Oh, there's a little bit. I can smell. Sorry. I don't have a hatchet to hold up. But there it is. It's only been, well, I mean, I don't even know what happened to it, to tell you the truth. I must have just sold it in a garage sale or it just ended up going away. But I got this 40 years ago. This year, obviously later on in the year, but there it is in all its glory. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably get one of those little foam heads or something. Maybe just a roll of paper towels or something. I'm just going to set it somewhere so I can just look at it just like I look at all my other stuff. But there it is. That's the classic Zagone, I don't know how to pronounce it, Zagone Studios Collection 1977 Green Fang Mask. Which you can get on Trick or Treat Studios, this exact one. You can also get the brown one. Maybe it might show up on Amazon too, but Amazon wants more money for it. Yeah, it was free shipping too. Got the free shipping on it. I think it was like $83 with tax. Pricey, but again, this mask cost $40 in 1984.
So 40 years later, it's only doubled in price. I'll take it. You would think this thing would be, if you look at like the what cost play sets, you think this thing would cost easily $150, if not $200, but no. So I got it. I can, if I just want to sit here and just put my mask on and just be the green Fang, I can do that. It's the little things in life that make, I got a scratch. It's the little things in life that make you happy. So again, I'll end up taking the tags off of it for now, but for now I'll leave the tags on. But yeah, it's the exact same mask. It's got the Velcro thing to hold the mask in place. It's got the little slit. It's got the little hood with the little Velcro in here to kind of shut the hood. It's the mask. I mean, it's dead on the mask. I mean, obviously it is, but I just can't believe how close it is to the real thing. It's just, you know, all the little things of back of that time period I've got now. It kind of had a, it's very much like, that was the other reason I kind of liked it too. It just reminded me of what's-his-face, Zarak from Dungeons & Dragons, which I had the action figure at that time. So, yeah. I need to get more. No, I don't need more. This is the only one. This is literally, I think I had a couple of other masks that I liked. But I don't think I bought, because the next year in 7th grade I was Jason from Friday the 13th, and because they just started coming out those plastic hockey masks that you could buy. And the thing is, I wanted to look just like movies, so I had ended up painting mine and painted it all up. I put the slit in it and everything, and had to get it to match so it looked just like the original one. So that's the mask, and I am starting to get a little warm in here. So we will take off said mask. There's all the Velcro that's stuck in my hair. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where it's just, you know, I didn't want to spend the money, but at the same time, it's like I've been thinking about this, and I've been wanting this. Like I said, it just brings back so many fond memories, and it's just something. I mean, I used to stare at this for a long time as a kid, so now I can sit there and stare at it. Put it on my amplifier, I guess, or sorry, my speaker at the moment. I'll have to eventually put it. Like I said, I'll probably get a. You can get them at Joann's. They're like, you know, $5. You can get those little foam heads for like wigs and stuff, and just put that on it so I can set it up. But yeah, that is it. That is the green mask. I know it's kind of a short video, but you know, I wanted to tell my story about it. Yeah, it's just funny how just things look so much bigger when you're a kid. When you're an adult, you've got giant adult hands, and you're like, wow, it looks a lot bigger now. And so that's all. Yeah. See, but this is not how they would. I mean, that's how like Halloween USA or Spirit Halloween. That's how they would put it on their shelves. That's not how it was. Like I said, they didn't have this kind of junk on it. They literally, it was on the foam heads up here, like literally all along the side of the store, and it's like, I want that one. And then they'd go in the back and they'd grab one in the baggie. Actually, I think they had it in a box like this, and they brought it out at the Halloween store. But I didn't get mine at the Halloween store. I got mine at Sears, and it was a special display. It was just, you know, probably a vendor who bought a bunch of this stuff up and put it out right at Halloween time to you know, to make some sales, which is a smart move because it worked on this little boy going in there. So that's where I ended up getting. And, you know, I think they were actually more expensive at the Halloween store, because I remember some of them, there was like this alien called the Alien Reaper, or the Alien something. It was kind of, he had like it was pinkish more, and he had crazy teeth. And I think he didn't have a hood. I think he had like a bald head with like pointy elf ears. And that one was like it was like this price 40 years ago. Well, maybe 39 years ago, because I remember that store, that Halloween store that I ended up going to, where I actually bought the, you know, I went a little cheaper this time. I just bought the Jason mask. I think the Jason mask was like
like $8, and I got that Jason knife for like $3, and then I doctored it all up myself with paints. But it was a lot cheaper that time, and I think I wore my red hooded sweatshirt and my jean jacket at the time for Jason, because Jason was apparently a hip seventh grader with a jean jacket and a red hooded vest, because it was cold out that evening too. I was just going to go out in my jean jacket because I thought, oh, it kind of looks like his blue jacket. My dad's like, I think those are coveralls. And I'm like, oh, I don't have any coveralls. He's like, well, just wear your blue jacket then. All right, there you go. So, and I still had this at the time. Because I remember, you know what? Okay, so if my one friend's watching, the guy from Ruther, he'll remember this mask, because we ended up having a film class together. This was in between 8th grade and high school, 9th grade, in the summer down at the Pate Creek Center of the Arts. I might have talked about this before. And we did this like movie making film class that was like a few weeks long. And one of the assignments, obviously was to use a Super 8, and the kid had a Super 8. One of the kids, the bass player, the kid who's no longer with us, he had a Super 8 film camera. And so we went down to the Rochester Park, and at the time I had my skateboard. I think I had the Mullins, the cool skull with the red helmet. I had that skateboard at the time, and we went down to the park, and I wanted to do, I called it, we made Polar Wars, which was like taking Star Wars Hoth stuff and making, Polar Wars. It was Snow Wars, right? And then it's like, what are the other movie we're going to make? How about Skateboard Wars? Okay, so it was supposed to be a killer on a skateboarder who just runs around and kills people with a skateboard. And I had needed a mask. I said, hey, I got a mask to wear. This was the mask. So if you were in summer of 1987 down at the Rochester Park, and you were seeing a bunch of kids and some creepy guy shooting videos down where the one hill is there, and there was a skateboard and this mask was involved, that was us. So there it is. There's the legacy remains in the Mask of Doom. Alright, so anyways, so if you like this video, if you like this stuff, obviously my shtick, like and subscribe. Tell me about your Halloween stuff. Tell me about your You Gotta Have It Again, or your fond memories of Halloween, what costumes you wore. Did you have that mask? Did you have any of those masks? Do you have fancy masks today? I watched a YouTube video of a guy who would do bass covers and stuff, guitar and bass covers, and he's always in front of this giant wall. He has like a house or apartment or whatever, and he has this giant wall of just nothing but masks on those little foam heads. Like a whole collection of them behind him. And I looked really close, and I don't know if he has the green fang. He might. I'll have to look again. But I think I remember looking for it and I couldn't find it. He had a bunch of ones that I did recognize, but I don't think he had the green fang. We'll have to check it out. But anyways, oh, sorry, yeah. I guess it's easier now that the video's big. So there's the mask up close. I'm just trying to... So... obviously if you did wear it as a costume, which I didn't do, you'd probably want to black out your eyes. If you had cool contacts, then you'd be really sweet, but, we didn't have any of that fancy technology back in 1984. And I probably wouldn't have worn it anyways because I was scared to death of contacts. I hope I never have to wear contacts. I don't like to touch my eye. But, yeah, it's funny now that literally, you can tell the type of kid I was and the type of 50-year-old man that I am, that, looking at Kiss behind us, looking at this mask, looking at stuff like this. I definitely am my, son's dad. I guess for me, Pancake Head wasn't the same, it wasn't like the ironic, funny, funny humor, new kid, Zennial humor of Pancake Head. Back in my day, Pancake Head meant a little, but we didn't use that term. But essentially it means the same thing. It was just cool shit like this that really caught my attention. So, again, my son's coming over today after school, so he'll have to see it, and he'll probably go like, "Oh, you bought it?" But anyways, sorry. So that's my Green Fang story, and again, like and subscribe if you like this. Hit me up with all your stories. Tell me all your stuff. I'll leave on this one last story. We also, at this time, we had JC's was a company that put on a haunted house, and they still do it to this day. I think it's still JC's down in the Rochester Park, but they've pulled it. They've done this for like the last probably since the 90s. Or might even been since high school. Well, which is like late 80s, early 90s, but they bring in this trailer, semi-trucks, and that's the haunted house. But before that semi-truck thing, there was a warming station, because they had the duck pond where everybody ice skated and played hockey. And in this little house, it was called the warming station, where you went and put your skates on and stuff, and it was warm. They had a fireplace in there and whatnot. It was heated. They had bathrooms. It's still there today. But they had turned that into the haunted house, and they kind of converted that whole thing to the haunted house. And this particular year, I remember my dad took me down there, and I was a little scared to go. And I went down there and went to that haunted house, and it was one of my most memorable haunted house experiences. Just there was just this one scene in there that I remember, where it's like you look through this window kind of thing, or not really a window, but just it's like a door, but with a top open, and the bottom was there. And you looked in, and they had this big operating table, and this like crazy red light, and there was a guy on the table. It was a real person, but sticking through the table, and he's like got all of his guts, and he's holding all his guts, and like going like ah, and then there's like the surgeon guy, and he's like sawing them open, and it was all real people. It wasn't animatronics, and it was just, they had like crazy like music, stuff like that, and they're like a screaming and everything, and there was some strobe lights going on, and this red light. I just remember that scene vividly. I mean, someday I should draw that scene. I mean, I can remember it like it was yesterday, and that was the same Halloween that I got the mask. So, just another Halloween story there. Again, what am I going to do for Halloween video this year? I don't know. Can't really top this 1984 story. But anyways, I'll let you guys go, and I'll catch you on the next video. All right, if I can find my little pen that keeps rolling itself away on me here. All right. Catch you later. Bye-bye.